Good morning, everyone. Welcome to TechCrunch online learning course. I am Professor Amit Jadhav going to teach you advanced web programming. Nowadays, we are very habitual of computer, mobile, internet. So, the student who want to build their career in IT sector, they must know about the web programming. So, let's begin with web programming. This is our today's agenda. In that, we are going to see HTML. In HTML, basic tags, list controls, table tag, form tag, and another topic is CSS. In that we are going to see the types of CSS, CSS selector, advanced CSS properties. Let's begin with HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, where hypertext means a text or images that refer to another contents, and markup means it's nothing but the process where we describe the structure of web pages. It was introduced by Berners-Lee in late 1991. There are different versions of HTML are available. Currently, we are using HTML 5.0. Next one is HTML elements. In HTML programming, we are using HTML elements that are nothing but the tags. Tags are of two types. First one is predefined tag, and second one is user-defined tag. HTML using predefined tag, where tags are already defined its meaning. For example, P for paragraph, B for bold, I for italic, etc. And user-defined tags. That means these are defined by the user for their convenience. That are mostly used in XML programming language. To develop HTML programming language, we are using different editor like Notepad, Notepad++, Atom, Sublime, Text, Dreamweaver, etc. But probably I would like to suggest you to use Notepad because in other editor they are suggesting us attributes and properties. In Notepad we have to remember all these things. So for the beginner, Notepad is very useful. Next point is structure of HTML. In structure, first we define the doc type. It shows the version of HTML. To start the HTML coding, the first root tag is HTML. In that we are uh, we are using head tag. Head tag to define the metadata, links, scripts, titles. That means we can include the external files in head tag. Also, we use title tag enclosed in a head tag. In title tag, we define the name of the website. It's a pair tag, so we close after defining the title. Next one is the body tag. In body tag, we actually write the code to show the content of the page. Then we close the body tag, and finally we close the HTML tag. As the tag started, it ends at the last. That means as HTML tag start first, it will ends lastly. Here there are some basic tags that we use in HTML. For example, p tag. P tag is used for writing a paragraph. We write text, and if we want to make it in a paragraph content, we use p tag. B tag to bold the content, I tag for italic the content, U tag for underline. Then heading tags. There are different heading tags are available in HTML. H1 to H6. That means H1 is the larger font and H6 is the smallest font. Then BR tag to break the line. A tag for hyperlink. Whenever we want to whenever we want to redirect the content or redirect to another page, we use anchor tag. Then image to display image tag. Its syntax is image src, and where we specify the path. In anchor tag, we use href attribute where we specify the page title. In image tag, we use src to set the path of image. There are two types of setting a path. First one is the absolute path and second one is the relative path. In absolute path, we set the path from its root element, that is from the server. We specify the path from server. Relative path, we relatively set the path. For example, if the image contained in a folder where we write the code, then we just need to write the image name. And if it is in a new folder, we specify the path of that particular folder. So next one is center tag. Center tag is used to make the contents in a centric format. Next one is the HR tag. HR tags to draw horizontal line. And last one is and NBSP. NBSP to next one is the list tag. In list tag, whenever we want to display in the text in a ordered format or an unordered format, we use list. There are different types of lists are available. First one is the order list. In order list, the list contain the numbers, uppercase letter, lowercase letter, Roman letters, etc. Its syntax is OL type is equal to 1. So here we specify the type number 1. The list will come 1, 2, 3 and so on. So here we add the items, li some text, li some text, li item and OL tag close we here. So this is the syntax of order list. Let's see example of it. So here in this example, we use HTML tag, head tag for order list. Then we start with the body tag to show the content. Here we use export tag to display the text. Then we use order list. So OL tag, its type is equal to I. So the list will be displayed in a Roman format. Then we add some content in it in list, that is coffee, tea and milk. Then we close the OL tag. Then we start with the H. Then we write the H4 tag to display the content or display the text. Order list with the number start from 50. OL type is equal to 1. So here it will display in a number, and here we use start attribute. So the list will be start from 50. So the copies number will be 50, 51 and 52. Okay, let's see the output. So this is the output. Order list with the Roman number 1, 2, 3, and order list with number start from 50. The list will be displayed from 50, 51 and 52, coffee, tea and milk respectively. So let's go to presentation again. Next one is the unordered list. To display the list using square, disk and circle shape. Its syntax is UL, type is equal to square, and we enter the items here, whatever we want to display in a list with shape square. So let's see an example. So here we start with the HTML head tag. In that we mention the title, an order list, head tag close. Then we start with the body tag, that we use h4 tag to display the text in heading tag 4. Then we use ul tag to display the unordered list, and its type is square. So here I specify the list item, that is chocolate cake, black forest cake, and pineapple cake. Then we write the h4 tag, in that we write the content unordered list circle shape, and here we add some item in unordered list with type circle. The items are chocolate cake, black forest cake, and pineapple cake. So let's see the output of program. So this is the output of unordered list, where chocolate cake, black forest cake are show in a show using list shape rectangle, and here we find the list items with circle shape. Okay, let's go to presentation again. Next one is the definition list. In definition list, we define like a dictionary, where there are some words and its meaning is there. Example, HTML and hypertext markup language EX, for example. Its syntax is, we use DL tag for definition list and DT tag for definition term. In here we write the short form text, and in DD tag we write the long form text. We close the D tag. So this is the syntax. Let's see the program. So this is the program where we write this HTML head, title, body tag. Start with the body tag. Here we write the h4 tag, that description list example. Then we write the DL tag, in that we add some item. So in definition tag we write the bread, and in definition description we write its meaning, a baked food made of flour. Then in DT tag we write the coffee, and in DT tag we write a drink made for the roasted coffee beans. And here we get the output. So this is our output. Description list example, bread, a baked food made of flour, coffee, a drink made from roasted coffee beans. So let's go to presentation again. Next, the important concept or important tag is table. In that table, in table tag, we can show our data in a tabular format. So we use trtd tag to arrange the contents in row and column format. So its syntax is table tr to create a new row and td to create a column. Let's see a simple example of table. So this is the table example. This is the common part. I'm not going to explain it again and again. So let's see with see from body tag that we write h4 table example. Here we use table tag and its attribute are border, cell padding, cell spacing. Border is equal to 1, that means the border will display. If we use border is equal to 0, then border will not display. We can increase the border size 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Cell padding is the distance between the cell, individual cell, and cell spacing, distance between two and more cells, cell space. So here we write the cell spacing is equal to 15 and cell padding is equal to 10. To create a new row, we use tr tag. In that, we use two tds. So here we create one row and two column with the contents row 1, column 1, row 1, column 2. In next here, in next row, we create again to create two columns with row 2, column 1 and row 2, column 2. And we close the table tag. Its output is so here we get the output. In first row, there are two columns. In second row, there are two columns with the content row 1, column 1, row 1, column 2, row 2, column 1, and row 2, column 2. Let's see another example. So next, the table properties. There are different properties that we can use for the table tag. First one is the border. As I told you before in example, that if border value is 1, then border will display. If it is 0, then it will not display. Then next one is the cell padding. To keep some distance in a cell spacing, to keep the distance in different cell items. Then call span is used to merge the column, and row span is used to merge the row. Bg color is used to give background color. Background attribute is used for giving image, background image. Height and width for table height and width respectively. And last one is the align. Align is used to align table left, right, and center. We can assign the properties to it. Next one. Let's see one more example here. So this is example of table 2. In that, here we start with the body tag. Table example, table border is equal to 1, height equal to 400, width equal to 400. So it will display the table with height 400 pixel and with width 400 pixel. We use BG color as a aqua. We can specify hexadecimal value also, or we can specify color name also. So to create a new row, we use tr tag. In that, 3 columns are there. So column 1, column 2, and column 3. Then we close the tr tag. Then in new tr tag, we use the row span is equal to 2. Here we write the row 1, cell 1, row 1, cell 2 in column. So row span will merge the row. Here we are using 2 column and that 2 row, and that we want to merge. So we use row span is equal to 2. In next tr, we display simple 2 TDs, that is 2 columns, row 2 cell 2, row 2 cell 3. In next tr, we want to merge the column. So above there are 3 columns. So the 1 column use the space of 3 columns. So here we write the cost span is equal to 3, row 3 cell 1. Let's see its output. So here we simply define 3 columns. Next we do the row span. So here 2 rows are merged and become a 1 row, and these 2 rows are common. And lastly we merge the column. So these 3 columns merge into 1 column. Let's go to presentation again. Next important concept is form control. Form tag we use to get the input from the user. We have seen mostly in every website the form is used for registration, for login, etc. There are different elements that we can use for use in a form tag. Let's see one by one. First one is the submit. It will create a button that used to send data to the server. So its syntax is input type is equal to submit. There are number of properties that we can use for this control. For example, name, then ID, values, etc. Reset is used to clear the content. Its syntax is input type is equal to reset. Next one is the text. To enter the text in a text box, for that we use the syntax input type is equal to text. Next, for creating button, we use input type is equal to button syntax to create a new button. It generally used to call the function when we click, or call the event when we click on it. Next one is the radio button. Its syntax is input type is equal to radio. When we have the multiple data, and from that we have to choose single item, then we use the radio button. Its important property as name, ID, and check property. If we are creating 2 radio button, then the name should be same of both the radio button. We are going to see this in a example, because if you are not using this property, then radio button can choose multiply. That means both the radio button we can select it. Next one is the checkbox. Its syntax is input type is equal to check. When there are multiple items, and from that we have to choose multiple items, at that time we use checkbox. Its syntax is input type is equal to check. Next one is the text area. Text area is used for creating multi-line text box. So this syntax is text area, and we close that text area tag. Its important property is rows and calls, where we specify the number of rows and columns. Next one is the password. Its syntax is input type is equal to password. and it's used to enter the password that the text are in non-readable format. Next one is the drop down. When we want to choose single item from the multiple list, when at that time we use select tag, and to add the items we use option tag here. Next one is the list box. The difference between drop down and list box is, in drop down we can select one items from the multiple items. In list box we can select the multiple items. Drop downs example is, whenever we want to choose our country from the multiple country list, we select one. Next one is list box, where we can choose the multiple options from the list. Its syntax is select, and we use only attribute multiple here. Next is the hidden tag. Hidden tag is used to hide the value from the user. Its syntax is input type is equal to hidden. Let's see one example of form, student registration form. So in this example, we use table tag here to align the form items in row wise and column wise. So it's a property we use. Cell padding is equal to 2, width is equal to 50%. PG color we specify in hexadecimal format, and align is equal to center, so that the table will display the content in a center format. Cell spacing is 2. Here we use TD call span is equal to 2 to merge the two columns in a one. And here we specify the title, student registration form. Next TR, we use the form controls. In first TD we write name here. In second type we use text box. Input type is equal to text, name is equal to text names, ID is equal to text name, size is equal to 30, and in placeholder we write first name. Okay. Next is the in TR tag we use two TDs. In first TD we write the name, father name. In second TD we use the text box with name and ID properties. Placeholder we use so that in text box the father name will display. When user enter father name, then it will clear. In next year we use text area control, text area with name, ID, and here we specify rows and columns, 4 rows and 50 columns, and placeholder is equal to address. In new row we write here, we use here radio button. Input type is equal to radio, name is equal to sex, value is equal to male, and size is equal to 10. And here the content that we want to show with the radio button. Next one, same radio button that we use here, name we use name property with the same value sex, so that we can choose single radio button at a time. Next one is city. Here we use the drop down box. So for that we use select tag, name is equal to city, and these are the items that we can insert in a drop down box. These are the cities name. Next one is same, we use the drop down box to select the different courses. Here we write the, here we show the drop down box with the following option. Here we use to enter the district, that is Nalanda, UP, Goa, Patna. This will be show in a drop down box. Next one we show the state. with the option New Delhi, Mumbai, Goa, and Bihar. Then we write the pin code, and in pin code we use the text box. Email ID, we use the text box. Input type is equal to email, and here we write the ID, size, and placeholder. For next one is we want to get user's date of birth. For that we use input type is equal to date, so that user can choose the date from the calendar control, and for that we write input type is equal to date. Next one is mobile number, and for that we simply place text box code here. Last one, to clear the content, input type is equal to reset, and submit button. For that we use call span is equal to 2, so it will merge two column. Input type is equal to submit and value equal to submit form. To run a program, let's see the output. So this is the output, name text box, and when user enter the text it will clear. Okay, here we can choose one item at a time. Again, here we can select the city, course, district, state. We write the pin code, email ID. We are not doing any validation here, so it will accept anything from here. Here we can use the calendar control, mobile number, and here it will submit the form. Let's go to presentation again. So here we end with the HTML form controls. Next one is the form attributes. The important attributes of form are action, method. In action, we specify the URL. When we fill up the form data, where we want to redirect that data, we specify as a URL. So form action is equal to URL. Method, to send data to the server, we use different methods. First one is the get method. Whatever data we send, if we are using get method, then it will appear in a URL. So appends the data with URL in name and value pair. The length of URL is limited to 2048 characters. It's a limitation of get method. We can send data up to 2048 characters. We never use get method for the sensitive data like password, and useful for form submission where that is we can use for the bookmark. Next one is the post method. Whenever we want to send large data, we mostly prefer, and sensitive data, we use post method. So its size is not limited. We can send n number of size elements. Send data cannot be bookmarked. User cannot view the data. So whenever we want to send the sensitive data, mostly we prefer post method. Next attribute is target. So target used to where we want to show the result. Its value are blank. Blank means it will open in a new tab. Self means in that tab the result will show. Parent means in parent frame, and top used to display the result in a top frame. Next attribute is autocomplete. In autocomplete, by default its value is on. So whenever user try to enter the text, it will suggest to user. For that we use autocomplete property. If we don't want, we can set it off. Next is name property. We use number of forms on a web pages. So to identify it, we use name property. Next one is the non-validate. Specify the browser should not validate the form. So if we don't want to validate the form data, then we use this attribute. Next one is, here we end with HTML, the basic tags. Next, let's see CSS. CSS stands for cascading style sheet. It used to make the web pages more attractive. In HTML, we can use the basic tag, but to make the web pages more attractive, we have to use the style properties. It describes the how HTML element should be displayed on the web page. It saves a lot of work and time. So if we are using external types CSS, then we can create the CSS only one time, and that properties we can use a number of times. So it will save our work and time. To define a CSS, we use this syntax. So this is the H1 tag where we want to apply the CSS. So this is nothing but the selector, and these are the declaration. Color, these are nothing but the style properties. Color, we specify its color blue, font size 12 pixel. So these are the style properties. Whatever the style properties uh, we want to use, we can enclose in a curly braces. So let's see one simple example of style sheet. So this is a simple program. Here we use internal CSS. So we write it in a style properties. Style P, this is nothing but the selector P, and we write here style properties, color red and text align center. We write the content here in P tag, hello world, and in next P tag, this paragraph are style with CSS. Whatever style properties we write here, it will apply to the P tag. Let's see its output. So here we get the text content in a paragraph with color red and specific font. Let's go to presentation again. So there are different types of CSS. First one is the inline CSS, where we apply style properties to particular HTML element. Then it's not good practice to use inline CSS because we have to specify style properties to each and every HTML element. So it's not good practice. Better we use internal or external CSS. Managing web pages become hard because we have to specify style properties to each and every element. So it is difficult to manage. Its syntax is element style is equal to, and here we specify the style properties. Example, if we want to apply style to h1 element, then we use style attribute. Here we specify the color and we write the text. So here we get the h1 tag with style properties, style property color. So the text will be displayed in this color. Next one is internal CSS. It also known as the embedded CSS. It defines the style rules in a style tag inside the head tag. That means whatever the style properties we want to use, we define it in a head tag. It is flexible than inline CSS because in inline we write the style properties to each and every HTML element. In inline we define it in a head tag, so it's more flexible than inline CSS. Whatever properties we want to use, we define in a head tag or under head tag. Scope of CSS limited to the page only. So whatever define style properties we define in a head tag, that is limited to the particular page. We cannot use that properties on another pages. Style attribute. So the important style attributes are type, where we specify type is equal to text slash CSS. Media, where we want to display this style on screen, on TV, on projection, where that we specify in a media. Its example, head, in a head tag, we write the style tag with attribute type is equal to text slash CSS and the text that we want to display. Next one is external CSS. This is more flexible than inline and internal because we create a new file and that we include in a page. So external CSS separate file is created on the web page, include file using link element. So whatever the web pages we are created in a website, so that we can include it using link element, link tag. So this is the most flexible type of CSS. It used to reuse the code because we create the style properties in a file and that we can include it on different pages. So we write the style properties only once and that we use on a number of files. So we reuse the code. Its syntax is, let's see a simple example. Here we use the head tag, in that we use the link tag with the properties type is equal to text slash CSS. In href we specify its path, and in media where we want to display these style properties. Okay, next one is the common properties of text. Let's see example of types of CSS. So this is simple example of CSS. In that, here we use h1 tag with the style properties color text align is equal to center, and we use p tag. So suppose if I use h1 tag again, I have to write this style properties. It's very time consuming. P here we use p tag with the style color red, and this is paragraph the content. So this content will show in a red color. This content will show in a blue color and align it in a center. Let's see its output. So here we get the output. This line align centerly with blue color. This line align with red color. With red color. Let's see example of internal CSS. So this is example of internal CSS. Here in body tag, we specify the style properties. This is apply for body tag. So the background will be linear color. Then it apply for the TD tag. The TD tag's color will be blue. Margin to keep the space from left 40 pixel. Font size is 40 pixel. In TD, if we use P, then its color will be red and margin is from left 40 pixel. Its font size is 40 pixel. So here we write the table example TRTD. So whatever the style properties that apply to this table. Let's see the output. So this is the output. The first column with blue color and font size. Second column with red color and font size. So this is the example of inline CSS. Last one is the external CSS. So this is output of external CSS. Let's see first program. So here we create the new CSS file with extension .css, and here we just write the div and p tag. The CSS file is. So this is simple style form file we have created with the extension .css. In p tag we use font size and color attribute. In div tag we use font size and color, same attribute with the different values. So it will display the output like this, and that we enclose in a head tag. So here we get the output. Next one, these are the common style properties for the text. The important properties are color, to give the text color. Line height. Line height is used to set the distance between the lines. Letter spacing, keep the distance between the letters. Text align, where we want to align the text, for example left, right, center, and justify. Text decoration, if you want to design a text with underline, overline, line through, or none. For that we use text decoration properties. Next one is the text transform. It's control the letters in an element. For example, if we want to display the text in a capitalized, uppercase, or lowercase, we use this these properties. Next one is the list properties. List style, set all the properties for the list in one declaration. That is, for it will apply to whole list. Its position, its image, inherit. Next one is list style image. We specify the image as the list item, where we specify the URL. List style position, where we want to show the list inside, outside, or inherit. We specify the space. Then list style type, whether we want in a list item with circle shape, disc shape, square shape, or in number. in Roman format that we specify in list style type. List style sets all the properties of the list in a one declaration. All the properties that we want, we define it in a one declaration. And last one is list style image. Specify an image as the list item marker URL. And here we set the image using URL attribute. Next one is the common properties for the font tag. Style property font. Here we specify all the font properties like font style, font size, then font family, etc. Font family. Here we specify the font name. The number of fonts are available that we specify here. For example, font name Arial, font name Times New Roman. Font size, where we specify the font size, for example, 12, 24 in pixel, or uh, we can use percentage also. Then font style, specify the font style, for example, normal, italic, inherit. Then font variant, to display the font normally in capital, uppercase that we use. Font weight, here we specify the font weight. For example, if we want to display the text in a bolder format, lighter format, normal format, we can specify number also. For example, 100, 200, and so on. Next one is border. To display border to the content, its important properties are border. It will apply to whole border. So we can use this property. First value is border width, where we specify the border width in pixel. Borders type, for example, dotted, then dark, we can specify here, and border color. So all the properties we apply in single border attribute. Then our style property. Then border bottom, it will set border to the bottom, border bottom color, whatever the color we want at the in to the border, we specify here. Border bottom style, border bottom width is used to give the width to the border color, specify the border color, where we specify the color with name or hexadecimal number. Next important point is CSS selector. There are two types of selector. First one is ID selector and second one is class selector. So in ID selector, the we define ID as a property. So define ID attribute to the HTML element. ID is uniquely defined. So we can use the ID to write the style properties. Here we use the hashtag to specify the ID. Its syntax is hash para1. So whenever we use the HTML element, at that time we use ID tag, right? And using that, we can write the style properties. Its syntax is hash para1, text align is equal to center, and color is equal to red. Next one is the class selector. In class selectors, we apply the style properties to the particular class. Whenever we write the HTML element, at that time you can use the style property is equal to class and assign some value to it. So this class we can define as a property. We can define its property using dot. For example, if I write the class is equal, if I want to write class is equal to center, then its syntax is dot center and I write its properties. If I want to apply the style properties to the center class, p dot center. So here I use class to the p tag. Class is equal to center to the p tag, and these style properties we apply. For example, p class is equal to center large. So here I define dot center large, and this paragraph refers to the two classes. Next is CSS universal selector and grouping selector. In universal selector, it will the whatever the style properties we write in a under this symbol, it will apply to whole page. For example, star text align center color is equal to blue. And last type is CSS group selector. So here is the syntax. It apply to h1 h2 and p. So component properties, if we want to apply to h1 h2 p, we write it and in h1 h2 p10. Let's see its example. So this is example of class selector. Here we use h1 tag with the attribute class is equal to center, and this is our text. In p tag we use class is equal to center, and this paragraph will be read and center and align. This is the text. Here we use the center class. So p dot center dot is used to specify the class dot center. Text align is center, color is red. Okay, so it will apply where we write the class is equal center. So here it will apply to the h1 tag as well as p tag. Let's see its output. Sorry. So this is the class selector. It will apply to both h1 and p tag. Okay, next example. So this is an example of ID. We add the style properties in a head tag. The ID specify with the hashtag para1 text align center color equal to red for the, and here we write the ID for it. So it will applicable for this one only, not for this p tag. Let's see its output. So here we get the output. So it will applicable to first p tag only, not the second p tag. Okay, and universal and group CSS universal. So here in your universal, we write the style properties in head tag. Here we use star symbol for the universal selector. That is, these properties apply to whole pages. Text align, center, and color is equal to blue. So all this content will show with blue color and text align center. Let's see output. So here we get the output, all the content show in a blue color and align center. So let's go to the presentation again. So this is the summary of CSS. Whenever we use class, we use dot sign to the particular class name. Then for ID, we use hash sign. For universal selector, we use star sign. We can apply to the particular element. For example, I want to apply to the anchor tag. I use A and write the style properties in it. And this is for the group element div and p. Here we whatever the style properties we write, it will applicable to div and p tag. Next one, some advanced properties of CSS. CSS advanced style properties. First one is CSS border radius property. This is used to show the border in various shape. So show element with rounded corner. This will apply to background image, background color, and with border. Let's see its example. So this is an example. Can you view this? So here in this example, we write some style properties with hash RC corner 1. Here we write some properties that will apply to the particular tag. So RC corner 1 border radius. Border radius is used to apply border with radius 25 pixel. Its background is red. Its padding is 20 pixel and body width and height we specify. Then another properties. Here we apply it for the background. Next one is border radius 25 pixel, border 2 pixel, solid and aqua. Here we use the border property, padding, width and height. Last one is the border radius with 25 pixels, same we use, but it apply for the background image. Here we specify the image path, background position we set, background repeat. If we want this image repeatedly, we use repeat value, padding, width and height. We specify its value. So here we use p tag to display the text. Here we id rc corner ones. In rc corner 1 we specify border radius with 20 pixel. Its background is red, so we get the output with border red in red color and with corner shape, rounded corner shape. Next, here we write the id rc corner 2. So these properties are applied to it. Last one, we apply the for the images. So id is equal to ic corner 3 and we apply these properties to this content. Let's see its output. So this is the output we get. rounded corner with the red color. This is rounded corner with aqua border, and this is rounded shape border for an image. Let's see the next property. Next one is the CS gradient. There are two types of gradient. First one is the linear and second one is the radial gradient. So here we use the property background image and write the style property linear gradient with red and yellow color. So the content show mix red and yellow color. If we want to display in a 3D format, we use gradial gradient with three colors: red, yellow, and green. Let's see its example. So here is a code. Here we write ID properties grad 1, its height, background color, red. If it's not supported, the gradient, linear gradient properties. Some browsers are not supported, so it's will be show in a red color. And here we linear gradient and we mix the red and yellow. So this first ID for linear gradient, this for this for radial gradient. So height and width we specify, background color we specify, and background image here with red, blue, and green color. So three colors are mixes. Here we simply create two div with this attribute id is equal to grad 1, and here we write id is equal to grad 2. Let's see an output. So this is linear gradient with red and yellow color, and this is radial gradient with red, yellow, and green color. So let's go to the presentation again. Next one is the CSS transition. In this, we transit the element in given duration and direction. Suppose that if you want to move an element, we use CSS transition. So its syntax is transition and with 2 seconds. So this transition will be performed in 2 seconds and in with direction. So let's see transition example. So this is an example of CSS transition. We assign some properties to the div, and the important properties transition. We want to move or transit the element in a width direction and within 2 seconds. Also, we move that element in a height direction also. In width and height, the element will move. For width, it will take 2 seconds, and for height, it will take 4 seconds. So, so let's see the output. In body tag, we simply write the content, the transition property v tag, and here we apply this transition property to the particular div. The div with width and height 100 pixel will move in a width and height direction within 2 and 4 seconds respectively. Let's see an example of transition. Let's see output. So here we get the output. Can you see this? Yes, here we get the output. On mouse over effect, it will move to height and width direction. So this is the transition. Let's see in the next animation property. Next one is the animation. Here we define the rule using cat at the rate keyframes property. In that we specify animation name, whatever the name we define to the animation, then delay the time, delay time take to perform an animation, then direction, in which direction we want to, either it is forward, backward, in alternate cycles. We write place state, specify whether the animation is running or pause, its state that we mentioned. Then animation fill mode, specify a style element when the animation is not playing. Before it start, animation iteration count. So how many iteration it will perform, we specify here. And animation timing function, specify the speed curve of the animation. Let's see an example. So here we write the code for the keyframes. So on 0%, we want when the animation performs 0%, then color left, color red, and 0 and left. Left is 0 and top is 0. That is it. It's at initial position. At 25%, its color become yellow. Its position, left position is changed. Top is same as it is. In when it is 50%, the color change to the blue. Left change and top change. When it is 75%, the color is green, left change and top change. And when it is 100%, the color red, left 0 and top 0. That means it comes to the its initial position. Its left is 200 pixel and top is 0, means in left direction it is 200 pixel and top it's at the initial position. That is its started position. And when we write here left 200 and top 200, that means it's from left it's 200 and from top, that is in y direction, it is 200. So let's see its output. So this is an output. It moves to the particular direction that we specify left and top and in specify specific color. Okay, let's see next one. Okay, animation is finished. So thanks for watching. Have a good time.